Hey guys, what's going on? My name's George and welcome back to the Flora YouTube channel. Now, if you clicked on this video, you already know what we're doing, and that is that we are going to see Modstock to get an exhaust modification done to the back box of the E92 M3, and I can tell you, I literally cannot wait. I've been waiting for this day for so long. So we're going to be getting the 1.75 mod done to the stock back box of my E92 M3. Now, the E92 sounds great and I love the sound of this car. It's completely stock and I've had it for a year and a half and I love the sound of it. But do you know what? If I'm being completely honest, it could sound better. It could sound better and it could be louder as well. So, like, just right now, I love the sound, right? I just need it to be a bit more V8, a bit more, almost like, feels like it's being choked. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to unleash the S65 as it was meant to be heard from factory. So what is a 1.75 mod? Well, basically what happens is that Chris at Modstock will take the stock back box, cut it open, take out the sound deadening, and then he'll see 4 perforated pipes. And this is basically to help bounce the sound around so that it doesn't sound as loud coming out of the engine. Now, the more pipes you cover of those perforated pipes, the louder the car will get because the sound won't be bounced off all the walls of the back box, it will go straight through the pipe. So I'm going to be going for a 1.75 mod today, and that is kind of like just under half of all the pipes to be covered. And the reason for that is that this is my daily driver, right? I would love to have a 4-pipe, crazy exhaust sound M3, but ultimately I live in a flat block. I need to be kind of considerate of other people. Plus also, I want it to sound great under load, but I don't just want to be running through town with it just being absolute crazy. It's my daily driver. I don't want any drone on the motorway, and it just needs to be a really better version of what it currently is. And that's kind of what I think we're going to go for. So I'm really looking forward to today. Chris at Modstock has already sourced a back box, done the modification, and will be swapping my stock exhaust for his. And that's kind of how it works. He doesn't turn up and do the modification on your doorstep. He also does home deliveries, by the way, or go to his workshop and he does it there and then. He'll have already sourced a back box with your desired pipe mod in, and then we'll turn up and swap the exhaust over. So it doesn't take a long time to do. It takes about an hour normally. And yeah, it's a really simple process. Now, a professional exhaust will cost you upwards of £1,000 north of that. It even depends on which one you want to get. So to have a simple back box mod done to the E92 M3 is just crazy because it's so cost effective for the value in which you get. I'm just so excited for what it's going to sound like. So on that point, you're probably curious as to what the M3 sounds like now. So I'm going to run these clips and you can see what the M3 sounds like on a flyby perspective as well as a standstill rev. And then at the end of the video, I'll be doing the same thing with the 1.75 mod as well, back to back, so you can see the comparison between them. But yeah, from what I've seen online and what I've heard from the forums and Facebook community, this is going to be mega and I cannot wait. So I need to grab some fuel. We're about to turn up at Shell, and then I'm going to head up to South London to go and see Chris. So I'll pick up with you guys when we get there. All right, catch you in a minute. Okay, so we're finally in London now. It took about 2 hours to get here, but that's not a problem. I'm always happy to drive to get cool things done to the M3. So we're parked up outside Chris's workshop now. First of all, let's have a look at the back box modification that we're going to do to the M3. Okay, so here we have the back box that's going on the M3 1.75 mod. We've also got this really awesome Modstock welded on logo here as well. So you can see the cuts that Chris has made in order to get the sound deadening out to then access the pipes that we've then wrapped to obviously give the louder sound effect from the stock back box itself. Now this then obviously becomes the 1.75 mod. If you wrap more of the pipes in there as well, obviously the louder it gets and the less chance the sound has to bounce around the back box, which in turn is the thing that muffles the sound coming out of it. So we're going to take the M3, reverse it back into the garage, and we're going to bolt on this new back box onto the M3, and I'm going to swap out my stock one to Chris for him to then use to modify for someone else that wants to have a modification. And that's as simple as it is. Obviously we've got to get the car up and take the exhaust off, but from thinking about how much money you'd have to spend on a brand new custom loud exhaust to actually just having a simple modification to a stock back box itself, I don't understand why any E9X owner wouldn't do this, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to do this myself. So let's go ahead and get the car in and then start work.
So how long does it normally take from getting the car up to the customer driving away?
So if your car is good to me and it all comes off nicely, including the clamps, I can have your back box off in 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then switch the rubbers over, takes a couple of minutes, and then put another one on. So theoretically, I could have you probably turn around in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it just depends on what it comes undone.
Each car's different, I guess,
Yeah.
as well. Been looked after differently.
Yeah.
In different environments.
I always try and salvage what I can. Like if I can salvage the clamps, but I have to cut the bolts, then I will.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit longer because of that. I should probably just cut them off, but it saves you a bit of money.
Yeah, no, that's fair. What are the things that cause you the most trouble?
The clamps.
The clamps.
Yeah. Just where the X pipe meets the back box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, the threads just grow and they just break down.
Okay.
And then I can't undo them.
What's the most popular mod?
It's hard to say, it goes through stages. I would say either 1.75 and decat,
Yeah.
or 2 pipe and sometimes decat, but I'd say just the mod probably a 2 pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the younger guys tend to go louder, sort of 2.5. I've had a few people opt for a 2.5 against my advice, and
Yeah.
then they've returned saying, "Oh, you was right, it's too loud."
Does it drone when you go that loud?
So, in my opinion, and I always say this to people, none of them drone. It doesn't even matter if you go 4 pipe. So imagine you're going down a motorway in 6th gear for a manual or 7th gear for a DCT, 70 mile an hour, and you've got cruise control on, going down a flat motorway, so the engine's not under any load. It's not like there's none of that horrible resonance that you'll get through the cabin. However, if you start going up an incline and you're putting the engine under load, it will start to become loud. It's not drone, it's loud. Just, if that makes sense. But if you're just cruising up the motorway, then no, these are what give me the trouble. So you see, I don't know if you can see in here, where the thread is so corroded, it won't undo, so I've just got to try and persevere. Best scenario is that it takes a socket, because the bolt itself is actually corroded as well. Sometimes I have to hammer a 12mm socket on.
Okay.
So process of elimination is if they're not going to undo, I'll try and get something on it for a positive feel, and then undo it. Best case scenario, it will snap, and then I can basically separate them. But if that doesn't happen, then I have to cut them off with an angle grinder.
So Chris is just getting the clamps off of the E92 at the moment, which proves to be the most tricky bit about getting this off apparently. It depends upon what year of car you have, whether the exhaust has come off before, but I can imagine that my car, as 2007, actually hasn't had the exhaust off ever at all, so those clamps look to be pretty rusty up. Overall, it took about 5 or 6 minutes to get the rest of the bolts off, and the back box is just about to come off now. If you're interested in Modstock services, I'll leave all of the links in the description down below, so go and check them out, drop him a message. It's a really simple and easy process. Simply organise a date and a time. He'll send you a text with the address and the time you need to be there for, and also ask you to pay a small deposit to ensure that you turn up for your appointment. You simply turn up to the workshop, or he's able to turn up to your house in order to get the modification done at a place that suits you more. But yeah, highly recommend. All the links will be in the description. Go and check him out. Okay, right, so the exhaust is now off. Chris is saying this isn't actually a 2007 exhaust.
So in here, there's a plate that sits vertically, and they started to rattle. There's quite a few cars now out there that on cold start and on low RPM, like when you're pulling out of a junction, they have a little bit of a rattle, and it's this plate that causes it. So what I do is I drill through to the plate and then bond it to the outer skin, so it can't do it. So if you look on this box here, they didn't do it on the early boxes. You've got one random weld there.
Yeah.
Nothing there. And nothing underneath.
Okay.
Here. Whereas this is an LCI box.
Okay.
So it's got these welds
on either side.
We are up. Now we've just got to button it all up. Now it's just, so it's 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 10 bolts to do now.
And then it's on.
And then yeah, and it's done.
So we've got the exhaust on now. That sounds absolutely amazing. It sounds better than I actually thought it was going to be honest, literally, because I was nervous about going to the point that we spoke about beforehand. If I went 1.75 and it didn't decat in the future, you said most of your customers go for a 2-pipe, right, at that point. So going for the 1.75 then gives me the opportunity to make that change later on.
So
and
decal will give you about 25% more noise.
Yeah, exactly. So that sounds awesome. However, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is the chrome tips, because obviously I've stuck with these stock tips, and I gave you mine and you gave me a set for these, but you can actually change the tips as well, can't you? So what tips do you actually offer?
So we do all different types of tips. We've got slash cut, we've got Euro style.
Okay, and these are more for if you get a diffuser, right?
This is a standard length tip. Well, this is what I would call a standard length tip. That's a standard length E92 tip.
Yeah.
You can put them where you want, basically, so that they're adjustable as to how aggressive you want them.
Yeah.
So that's a standard length tip, what I refer to as a standard length tip. So you've got E90, standard length E92, and then you've got diffuser length.
I didn't know the E90 had a shorter.
Yes, they got a shorter tip. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you've got a diffuser on an E90, I would put a standard E92 length tip on it, and then obviously that's an extended. That's for a diffuser.
So you get
E92.
When you have the extended carbon diffusers, that then basically means your tips don't shrink in.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, and then we can do obviously the aquaprovic style, and then we've got the
carbon M1s.
Carbon M. That's carbon on black. I can do carbon on chrome as well.
That's pretty cool. What would you say is your most popular?
Ooh, depends on budget.
Yeah.
All depends on people's budget. For the people that really like to splash out in their cars, definitely the carbon ones. Although they're not badly priced, to be fair. The Euro ones are really popular. They're all popular, to be fair.
Yeah, it's all personal taste.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I like them all. To be honest, that's why I do them.
Yeah.
There's not one that I dislike. So I get some odd requests that I just point blank refuse to do. But, yeah.
I really like these slash cut ones.
Yeah.
I think they're really cool.
I can do those in, so that's a stainless finish. That's just the raw stainless.
Yeah.
That's the same tip, same but polished. And then I can do them in black as well. Tools list for removing an E92 or an E90 back box. 8mm socket, essentially it's the same thing, 8mm.
Yeah.
18mm, I use a ratchet, but 18mm spanner, 13mm socket with an extension. That's a deep socket because of the studs. The studs stick out for a normal socket, and obviously a gun.
And that's all you need.
Providing everything comes off nice, eh, George?
Well, yeah.
But yeah, if everything comes off as it should, that is all you need.
So the exhaust mod is done. We have the new back box on the car. Big shout out to Chris. Thanks so much. He's an absolutely sound guy and what an awesome business. Definitely go and check him out. Like I said, all the links and stuff will be in the description down below. If you're interested in any of his services, I would highly recommend.
So I've driven now for about an hour or so out of London. We're around Basingstoke area, and I've had experience of the exhaust mod on a motorway and around town and in stop-start traffic. And what do I think? Well, I can tell you that it has absolutely transformed the way the car sounds. It sounds so good. I can just hear the car wanting to pick up as we go around these corners here. It just keeps on going. And that's in 4th gear, low RPMs with the windows closed. I'm not sure how well you can hear it, but I can hear it and it sounds amazing. So if I drop it down a gear, open the window a little bit, sounds so much better. I'll show you some clips of it revving on a standstill. You can see the difference between the two. So much better. It's night and day. Now, like Chris said, most people tend to go for a 2-pipe, but that's just standard. I want to go primary decat in this, so I've gone 1.75 to keep it for the moment, and the decats will make it that little bit louder, plus also give us some extra horsepower, which is always a good thing. Now, I'm so happy with how this sounds. It's not outrageous, right? So it's not completely in your face, but if I'm going around town and I'm in 2nd gear and I put my foot down, it's for certain heads will turn. It made me smile so much on the way home. Just giving it a little blip in traffic or pulling away from a traffic light in 1st gear, even in not in M mode, right? In just standard comfort mode, this sounds so good. Oh, I'm just in love with how this car sounds now. Literally in love. But yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed it. I've had an absolutely fantastic day. If you've made it this far, hit that like button. It would really mean a lot to me. And if you're new here, hit that subscriber button as well. New videos come out every week. So thank you very much to all of your support. And big shout out to Chris again. Please go and check him out. Awesome stuff. If you have an E92 M3 or E92 M3, this is a must-have mod. And it's so cost effective as well. But I've really enjoyed today. I've had a great time. I really hope you've enjoyed watching the video. And I'll catch you guys next weekend. See ya.